This module supports both internal consumption and stock management, and is part of the area we call purchasing, consumption, and sales. It is aimed at a very general use, since it is of interest to almost all organizations, at least regarding warehousing. Nowadays, it is essential to manage consumption well, that is, on the one hand, swiftly meeting the consumption needs and with the minimum operating costs, and on the other hand, closely monitoring what's being consumed, who is consuming it, and the cost of what's being consumed. An important feature to take into consideration regarding its use is that this module is oriented to the inside of the organization and assumes that the tax issues and current accounts of third parties are being processed in the purchasing module or otherwise, as the figures shown in their documents are at actual cost, with no tax deduction. Therefore, regardless of the tax issue, this module is applicable in various countries in which we operate, without significant differences. Essentially, this module concerning consumption manages consumption plans and orders, their satisfaction, and waybills, delivery bills, and the automation of the reflexes of these documents on stocks, as well as accounting and budgets. Regarding stocks, it manages incoming and outgoing stocks and their subsequent management, including the implementation of the average cost and the control of their current account, bundled quantity, incoming stocks, outgoing stocks, and final costs, movement statements and alerts, inventory, and statistics such as consumptions per organization unit. Technologically advanced processing, including barcodes and RFID, PDAs, tracking devices, etc., which could be integrated into this module, will be addressed in another video. Let's briefly look at the base menu of this module.
Here on the left-hand side are general classification options, particularly necessary for the setup of the system and registration of products and their consumers, usually organization units or people. Let's enter into products and services. In this menu, the registration of products takes place, for which it's possible to define not only the products themselves, but also catalogs and prices. Let's see the catalog, keeping in mind that our modules are 100% web. Therefore, this catalog can be accessed by whoever is authorized to do so, anywhere, anytime. This feature becomes even more important when it comes to organizations whose employees are geographically distributed, with works or other intervention sites outside the organization. By accessing the catalog in the selection criteria screen and clicking on the OK button, we display the catalog with the products we have selected. As we can see, we can provide images, photos, or videos of products, technical specifications, prices, and so on. Returning to the main menu, we also have here a very important feature, which is who sells what. By accessing products by third parties and typing MIX for the type of product, we get the list of who provides this type of product. We can check the supplier, our code and the product designation, the current reference price and the price of the last purchase, as well as other data, including the code and designation of the product at the suppliers, which may be different from ours. Keep in mind that the system has to know when orders to suppliers are made. Well, this is all for now regarding the registration of products.
Orders, outgoing stocks are the most typical movements of this module. Let's see how they are processed.
Everything starts with the user consumer. He places his order via the web. Let's see how. We access orders, outgoing stocks, and we insert a record, which will show who is placing the order, what's being ordered, what the product code is, the quantity, and the average price, which is automatically generated by the system. That said, it will be up to the party responsible for the warehouse to indicate when the order is satisfied by simply executing a few commands. And then the status will be changed to indicate that this order has been satisfied.
Incoming stocks usually come from purchases. Provided the purchasing module has been implemented, this issue will have already been treated in this module in most cases. Now, regarding the consumption module, only special cases will be addressed on it, such as returns of commodities. If the stocks are not entered into the purchasing module, then this module has an option available for them. Let's see how incoming stocks are processed.
Processing incoming stocks works just like processing outgoing stocks. Let us now access incoming stocks, where we will enter a record indicating that the product is going into stock, the internal code of the product, its quantity, unit price, and we can occasionally indicate which supplier that product was purchased from. Subsequently, the stock controller will perform the same commands executed for outgoing stocks in order to confirm the reflections in the actual stock. The status has been updated to confirmed, and from this moment, the reflection is done in the current quantities of the actual stock.
Purchase orders are records of purchase orders straight to internal consumers or to replenish stocks. The records are often aggregated for actual purchasing purposes. Only an aggregated purchase order will pass on to the purchasing module. Only orders are recorded in this module, and after they are analyzed, we finally proceed with the eventual aggregation of those that have been approved. Then the orders are processed in the purchasing module, with occasional market inquiries, orders, waybills and invoices from the supplier, etc. It is in the purchasing module that the document chains of the purchasing process are created and managed. The status and control of stocks have to do primarily with the status of the products in general and per warehouse regarding the various types of existing quantities and values, a sort of the alerts, including for purposes of replenishing stocks and determining the value of stocks. Let's see it.
The status of the products can be analyzed either globally or per warehouse, as regards the various existing types of products, their quantities and values. By taking a global look at the status of the product used earlier in the example of incoming and outgoing stocks, we get information with regard to the current quantity, bonded quantity, outgoing and incoming stocks, average cost, and last cost, that is, the last time the product entered the warehouse. If we wish to have this information in more detail per warehouse, we select the second option on the menu. And for the same product, the same information will be displayed. However, with regard to each warehouse in which this product has entered. In other words, the quantities are different for the storeroom and the production warehouse, each respecting their respective warehouse. We can also get several alerts, including for restocking. The Stock Alerts option immediately indicates the products for which there is a difference between the current quantity, and so the quantity for reference stocks can be defined. Using as example the same product used to illustrate incoming and outgoing stocks, the system informs us that, having set the minimum stock for that product as 850 units, there are right now only 800 units. Whenever the current quantity is lower than the minimum stock and the safety stock, the system enables alerts for all products in this situation.
The control of movement has to do primarily with the analysis of bank statements and statistics, particularly the consumption by different organization business units. Let's see it.
Movements per product can also be analyzed. The option Movement Statements indicates precisely the historical movement of these products. Here are our outgoing items and an incoming item, indicating the current quantity as well as the current value. Likewise, we can analyze outgoing stocks per department. Our outgoing item referred to the budgetary control department, as per the example shown earlier on. Here it is.
Closures and inventories have mainly to do with periodic operations in which the movement of stocks are closed for inventorying purposes, and so the stocks are adjusted as a result of this inventorying. Here's how to deal with the inventory lists generated by closures, and whenever differences occur, we proceed with the adjustments themselves.
At the time of inventorying, a closure will be created in order to obtain the quantities of each product entered in the system. This closure will result in an inventory list, which shall specify the quantity in the system for each product and warehouse. This list should then be complemented by the user by physically inventorying the quantity in stock. The system will also work out the difference between the current quantity and the inventoried quantity. Once the list is updated, the inventory adjustment documents will be automatically generated. These adjustment documents will be similar to the incoming and outgoing item waybills, and will indicate the number and the code of the product, its quantity, and unit price. Then, the same commands used for incoming and outgoing stocks will be executed, in order for the stocks to be updated. Status changed, movement confirmed, stocks valued as per the inventory list.
We have presented in this video the Consumption Stocks module, along with the necessary details for a first assessment by your organization. It should be emphasized that this module is very easy to implement and can be used immediately, which could result in immediate gains for organizations, with no losses regarding further upgrades, so the potentiality of the module can be fully exploited. In this context, we remind you that the dialogue can be deepened so we can better analyze your needs and our answers to them. We and the network of partners we integrate are fully prepared to listen to and support you.